The match at Stadium 1 lasted 54 minutes. Eala defeated Goff 6-2, advancing to the Indian Wells round of 16 for the first time in her career. Goff retired with a left arm injury, describing the sensation afterward as escalating pain that made continuing medically indefensible. It was only the second retirement of her professional career. Those are the sporting facts. But the commercial story running parallel to the tennis one is worth examining carefully, because it is considerably more complex and considerably more interesting than the viral narratives that have been circulating around it. Where it actually started, Eala's commercial journey did not begin with a major brand identifying a finished product. It began with a series of early commitments made by organizations that saw something in a young athlete long before any result existed to justify the investment. Her first endorsement relationship was with Globe Telecom, one of the Philippines' largest telecommunications companies. She was 8 years old. That relationship was not a marketing transaction. It was an expression of belief in a trajectory that had not yet produced anything measurable. Globe was not buying access to an audience. Globe was making a bet on a person. Nike followed in 2019. Babolat, the French racket manufacturer, supplied her equipment, specifically the Pure Aero model, the same line associated with Rafael Nadal's decades of clay court dominance. The Bank of the Philippine Islands joined in 2022. Each relationship was built during the years when Eala was developing at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, competing on the junior circuit, winning titles at the Australian Open, Roland Garros, and US Open junior events, and building the foundation of a game that would eventually justify everything these brands had committed to years earlier. The Philippines' government sports infrastructure operates on a budget that constrains what it can offer elite athletes at the development stage. Against that backdrop, Eala's corporate backing was not merely commercially convenient. It was structurally necessary. Without these early relationships, the pathway to Mallorca, and everything that followed, would have been significantly more difficult to navigate. Miami and what it changed the commercial picture shifted substantially in March 2025. Eala arrived at the Miami Open ranked 140th in the world, on a wild card. She defeated Yelena Ostapenko. She defeated Madison Keys, the reigning Australian Open champion. She defeated Iga Swiatek, ranked second in the world at the time, 6-2, 7-5. 3 Grand Slam champions eliminated by a player who had not been expected to advance past the first round. The ranking movement was immediate, from 140 to 75 in a single week, making her the first Filipino player in history to enter the WTA Top 100. But the commercial movement was equally significant. Sponsors who had been monitoring her progress began internal conversations at an accelerated pace. Her social media following expanded rapidly. Industry analysts began drawing comparisons to Emma Raducanu's 2021 US Open trajectory, another young player from a commercially valuable crossover market whose sudden breakthrough triggered immediate and substantial brand interest. The specific commercial observation that began circulating among sports marketing professionals after Miami was this: Eala's crowd magnetism appeared to operate independently of her ranking. The audiences she generated, the overflowing courts at the Australian Open in January, the sold-out matches in Dubai in February, the packed practice sessions at Indian Wells before she had played a single competitive point, were not consistent with the behavior of fans following a player ranked outside the top 30. They were consistent with the behavior of fans following a cultural phenomenon. Sky Sports presenter Gigi Salmon articulated the commercial implication directly, assessing that in terms of pure spectator appeal, Eala might already be the most significant draw in women's tennis regardless of ranking. That assessment, regardless of ranking, represented a meaningful departure from how sports commercial value has traditionally been calculated, where the ranking hierarchy and the endorsement hierarchy have historically tracked each other closely. The viral fabrication and what it revealed in September 2025. A post circulated across Filipino social media claiming that Wilson had offered Eala a $45 million endorsement contract, and that she had accepted. The post included a fabricated quote attributed to Eala suggesting she planned to donate the funds toward Filipino communities. It accumulated over 103,000 reactions on a single platform before fact-checking organizations Verifiles and Rappler published formal debunks. Wilson had made no such announcement. No official statement existed from either party. The story was entirely constructed. The debunking is the correct and necessary response to misinformation of that kind. But what the episode inadvertently revealed about the commercial landscape surrounding Eala was genuinely significant. A completely fabricated story, with zero documentary basis, generated engagement at a scale that most verified brand campaigns cannot approach organically. People shared it without verification because it felt emotionally plausible, because the commercial appetite around Eala had grown to a scale where a story of that magnitude seemed within the realm of reasonable possibility to a large audience. Wilson's name appeared in millions of feeds across the Philippines and beyond without the company spending anything. The rumor alone generated brand exposure that no conventional advertising budget could have purchased at equivalent scale. What this revealed was not that the audience was credulous. It was that the commercial energy surrounding Eala had reached a level where even fabricated stories about her attracted genuine mass engagement. For brand executives tracking that data, it was a specific and important piece of information. The Milo completion on February 22, 2026, 2 weeks before the Indian Wells draw was announced, Milo Philippines formally unveiled Eala as the newest ambassador for its My Milo Story campaign, a national initiative celebrating the connections Filipinos maintain with the brand across generations. The commercial logic of this partnership is worth understanding. Milo was not purchasing access to Eala's audience in the transactional sense that most endorsement arrangements operate. Milo was completing a circle that had begun at a grassroots sports clinic years earlier, when a young girl from Quezon City first picked up a racket at a program the brand had funded. Eala's career literally began inside a Milo initiative. The partnership was not a marketing exercise. It was a reunion with documented emotional authenticity that no amount of money could have manufactured after the fact. The campaign featured a new television commercial and a national storytelling initiative targeting submissions under the hashtag MyMiloStory, connecting grassroots athletic participation with elite professional achievement. It launched in Manila with full corporate ceremony. 2 weeks later, Eala was playing at Indian Wells. The portfolio and what it means. Eala's current sponsor portfolio: Nike, Babolat, Globe Telecom, BPI, Milo, and locally Juice, announced in July 2025, has a specific architectural quality that is worth noting. Each relationship occupies a distinct and non-overlapping territory in her identity. Nike covers apparel and global athletic positioning. Babolat covers equipment with a clay court legacy directly connected to her academy training. Globe covers national telecommunications and cultural resonance across Filipino demographics. BPI covers institutional financial credibility. Milo covers grassroots emotional authenticity and the origin story of her athletic life. None of these relationships conflict. All of them amplify each other. This architecture was not assembled through aggressive commercial strategy in the aftermath of success. It was built across 12 years of individual relationships, each one established before the commercial justification for it was obvious. The brands currently inside this portfolio locked their arrangements at rates that reflected the risk they were taking at the time. Any brand entering negotiations now faces a landscape where the most meaningful territories are already occupied, and where Eala's ranking is still moving upward. Her career prize money reached approximately $1.36 million through late 2025. Her Instagram following sat near 960,000 at the start of Indian Wells, more than double that of comparably ranked WTA players. Her engagement rate across platforms significantly exceeds players ranked above her. The gap between her commercial standing and her current ranking represents an arbitrage opportunity for brands sophisticated enough to act before the ranking catches up to what the crowd sizes have been indicating for the past 12 months. When Eala broke into the WTA top 20, and the trajectory of her 2026 season makes that timeline a matter of when rather than if, every endorsement conversation currently underway will be conducted at substantially higher price expectations. The brands that committed early built their relationships at development stage rates. That window has not closed entirely, but it is closing with each tournament result. What happened on Stadium 1? Eala won. She produced 12 unforced errors to Goff's 26, broke all 4 of Goff's service games in the opening set, and controlled the baseline exchanges with the tactical precision she had described in her pre-match press conference. When Goff retired, Eala stood at the net and told the crowd, "I really didn't want to win this way. But this is still a very big moment for me." It was consistent with everything her sponsors committed to years before the result existed to justify it. The composure, the empathy, the absence of any instinct toward self-promotion in a moment that offered ample opportunity for it. From a Milo clinic in the Philippines to the Stadium 1 round of 16 at Indian Wells, the commercial story and the human story have been the same story all along.